The Fed holds firm while you're still not safe. The headlines say the Fed isn't cutting interest rates, and people are asking, what does that mean for the economy? But that's the wrong question. Because the truth is, interest rates aren't the real problem, and they never were. The only thing that causes inflation is this: printing money. It doesn't come from supply chain issues, not because of greedy corporations or global weather patterns. It's because the Federal Reserve, a private central bank that is not federal and has no reserves, creates money out of nothing. And when they do, the dollars already in your wallet become worthless. It's that simple, and it's that devastating. So what about interest rates? Why does the media obsess over them? Because they want you focused on the illusion of control. They want you believing that tweaking the cost of borrowing by 0.25% is somehow going to fix an economy that's drowning in trillions upon trillions of dollars of artificial debt. But here's the thing: interest rates are the brakes. Printing is the gas pedal. And the Fed hit the gas for years. Now, instead of hitting the brakes hard, they're just tapping them, kind of holding, not cutting, not raising. That's not leadership. That's hesitation. And when the brakes don't work anymore, you don't get a soft landing. You get a crash. Back in 1913, a small group of bankers met in secret on Jekyll Island to create the system that we live under today. The story is told in detail in the book The Creature from Jekyll Island, and it's one everyone in America, especially you, should read. The Federal Reserve was sold to the public as a way to stabilize the economy, but what it actually does is monetize government debt and siphon value from the working class, people like you and me, to the financial elite. And since the Fed was created, the US dollar has lost 97% of its value. Let that sink in. Almost everything you've worked for is worth a fraction of what it used to be. You've been told to work hard, save your money, and trust the system. But what do you get for saving dollars that are being devalued year after year after year? You get punished. The banks pay you next to nothing in interest. Meanwhile, the cost of food, fuel, housing, pretty much everything keeps climbing. In fact, try to name one thing in your life that's cheaper now than it was 10 years ago. I'll wait. Thing is, you can't. This is not an accident. This is how the system was designed from the beginning. So when you hear that the Fed is holding rates steady, it's like being on a sinking ship and arguing whether to open that little porthole window a little bit. It doesn't matter. The ship is still sinking. The system is still broken. Tweaking the interest rates or tweaking that window a little bit isn't going to do a thing. And that's why now, more than ever, you need to start thinking in physical terms. Not digital, not theoretical, but physical. Things like gold, silver, precious metals, tools, guns, ammo, seeds, land, food, fuel, transportation. Things you can use, touch, and hold. Things that are not just pixels on a screen or in an app, because those numbers, they don't mean anything. Because if your savings, your investments, and your emergency plan only exists inside a digital system, and that system has a hiccup, crashes, or they change the digital rules overnight, what do you really have? And look, I'm not saying digital assets are worthless, but what I'm saying is diversification means reality. It means being able to feed yourself. It means having something real when the systems get weird. I'm not saying dump everything and live in the woods. I'm saying be smart. Start moving some of your energy, your labor, into things that actually last. Start with a little silver, a little gold, grab some canned food, develop some new skills. The important thing is to start. Because when the dollar finally cracks, when the next emergency justifies even more printing, the people will still have options are the ones who started preparing now. Now, here's the part nobody wants to talk about. This system isn't just broken, it's being used against you. Inflation isn't a bug in the plan, it is the plan. It's how wealth gets quietly, silently transferred from the productive class to the protected class. Because every time the Fed prints another couple $1 billion, or at this point, trillions of dollars, the people closest to the money get richer. That's Wall Street, that's big government, that's multinational banks, and the big corporations. And everyone else, you get stuck holding the bag. Groceries go up, your rent goes up, but your wages, they barely move. That's not just bad luck, that's monetary policy by design. And how it was designed in secret back in Jekyll Island. Because if you have to design it in secret, is it really in the best interest of everybody? And now that they want to fix this system with even more digital control, central bank digital currencies, programmable money, and social credit scores and incentives, imagine your dollar expiring or only being usable on government-approved products. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's where the roadmap leads. So what do? You opt out where you can. You lead towards sovereignty. You exchange your time, your effort, your savings for things that actually hold value. Not because you're paranoid, but because you're paying attention. This isn't about having I'm just going to live in a bunker mentality. It's about being one step ahead when everyone else is still waiting for somebody else to save them. Now let me ask you, would you rather wake up one day wishing you had prepared or go to bed tonight knowing you already are? Or at least you're on the path, that you're taking the right steps. Because here's the deal. You're more prepared now than you were just a few minutes ago. So don't stop here. Click below and keep growing with the Prepared American.